We have immunocompromised people who are incubators for every variant to come, walking around lawfully unvaccinated? That's psychotic.
That's psychotic.
The message of NBC and Jim Cramer couldn't be more clear. You are the one who's psychotic if you just want to be left alone and you don't want a certain product swimming around in your bloodstream. According to Jim Cramer and NBC, you are not psychotic if you want to force those people who want to be left alone to get something inside their bodies that they don't want inside their bodies. So let's recap. You are not psychotic to force somebody to do something that they don't want to do, but you are psychotic if you just want to be left alone.
That is what we call upside down world.
Welcome back to the High Impact Flicks channel. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification icon so that whenever I upload content, you'll be alerted to it. If you like this video, give it a like and share it with everybody you know. And don't forget to subscribe to my private email list and my free newsletter through my website, highimpactflicks.com, and check out my alternative channels right here on YouTube called Here's the Deal and Grease Monkey Videos.
That's psychotic.
The Commonweal was a Commonweal.
That's psychotic.
Hey guys, study after study shows that if you want strong bones and muscles, healthy hair, skin, teeth, and nails, you need the 5 types of collagen in your diet. I get mine from BioTrust. I've got a link in the description with a massive discount, and it'll tell you all about it. Listen to Jim Cramer here. Where are you, Jim? I gotta play this Jim Cramer thing. Here, listen to this. You know what's so funny? Trish doesn't know anything about Jim Cramer, and I said, hey, listen to what Jim Cramer, she's like, who's Jim Cramer? I'm like, he's on Fast Money or Mad Money from CNBC. He's been there for like 2 or 3 decades. And I played him, and she's like, that guy's drunk. I'm like, yep, he's a drunk. He's a drunk, all right. Listen to this guy. Listen to this. I mean, guys, pay careful attention. The reason I'm playing this is because this mentality that Jim Cramer from Mad Money and CNBC is conveying to us right now is what a lot of people are thinking. They're like, take away all their freedoms, force their sleeve to be rolled up, incarcerate them, put them in detention camps, make them victims of the stab wound. Listen to this.
Lord knows what happened if you didn't partake. But back then, anyone who refused to get vaccinated would get ratted out immediately because we knew that person could hurt other people. The Commonweal was a Commonweal. Now we're engaged in a similar struggle with COVID, and Eisenhower would be aghast.
I don't know what the heck that was. Did you hear that? Listen.
It could hurt other people. The Commonweal was a Commonweal. Now we're engaged in a similar struggle with COVID, and Eisenhower would be aghast. We have immunocompromised people who are incubators for every variant to come, walking around lawfully unvaccinated? That's psychotic.
It's psychotic to walk around lawfully un-VAXXed is what Jim Cramer says. I'll tell you what psychotic is. Psychotic is a rapist forcing a woman to have sex with him. Psychotic is a murderer taking away somebody's life who doesn't want their life taken away. Psychotic is forcing somebody to do something that they don't want to do simply because you think it would be good for them. That's psychotic. It is not psychotic to walk around like you always have done, unmolested by the big farm guy. That is not psychotic. Psychotic is a representative of the big farm guy saying we need to employ the military industrial complex to make you do what I want you to do so that I can feel safe. Which is exactly what they were saying back during the Cutter incident. Saying, oh, or how about thalidomide? Thalidomide is completely safe. Really? That didn't work out too well for you, did it?
We have companies that have tried hard to get people vaccinated and now backing down. We have governors who want to be president by grandstanding on a foolish states' right issue, the right to get...
Foolish states' rights issue. It's like, ain't going to happen in my state. Oh, that's foolish. Lawfully un-VAXXed, that's psychotic. These people are saying, woe to those who put good for evil and evil for good, light for darkness and darkness for light, bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to this guy right here. He's actually turning everything upside down on its head. Oh, me who want to force you to do something against your will, I'm not psychotic, but you who want to be left alone, you're psychotic.
Sick, get other people sick. So it's time to admit that we have to go to war against COVID. Require vaccination universally. Have the military run it.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to play. I'll tell you what, I'm going to play this through all the way without me interrupting. It's hard for me to not interrupt. Let's listen to 55 uninterrupted seconds of Jim Cramer telling you and I that we're psychotic because we want to be left alone. Here we go.
Lord knows what happened if you didn't partake. But back then, anyone who refused to get vaccinated would get ratted out immediately because we knew that person could hurt other people. The commonweal was a commonweal. Now we're engaged in a similar struggle with COVID, and Eisenhower would be aghast. We have immunocompromised people who are incubators for every variant to come, walking around lawfully unvaccinated? That's psychotic. We have companies that have tried hard to get people vaccinated and now backing down. We have governors who want to be president by grandstanding on a foolish states' right issue, the right to get sick, get other people sick. So it's time to admit that we have to go to war against COVID. Require vaccination universally. Have the military run it. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you better be ready to prove your conscientious objector status in court. And even then, you need to help in the war effort by staying home until we finally beat this thing.
Let me give you a translation on that. We need to go to war against the COVID-19 to such an extent that we have to employ the armed forces to make sure this happens. Translation, that's a war against you. When they say, hey, we're the terrorists, you're with us or you're with the terrorists, we're going to initiate the war on terror. It wasn't a war on terror. It was a war on Americans. It was a war on people. We have the biggest threat to public enemy number one is drug abuse and addiction. Therefore, we have to initiate the war on drugs. It wasn't a war on drugs. It was a war on people. How many times do we have to have an example from our recent history where a war on ... equals a war on you? The war on COVID, if you're going to employ the U.S. military industrial complex on American soil to force people to do something that they don't want to do, that war has been initiated against us, not against some elusive, invisible VIRUS. And that's Jim Cramer saying you are psychotic if you think you can walk around like you always have, you healthy individual, you jeopardizing the lives of everybody you come in contact with. Oh, such BS. Such BS. While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.